Some of the greatest chests in bodybuilding history were built with almost no barbell bench press. That's not an exaggeration. That's documented reality. The lifters who owned stages in the 70s and 80s often treated flat benching like an afterthought. Many avoided it completely, yet their pecs had shape, separation, and shelf that most modern lifters never achieve. The bench press became the king of chest day somewhere along the way. But here's what nobody tells you. The bench rewards what you're built for, not what you want to grow. And by the middle of this, you'll understand exactly why that distinction changed everything. Walk into any gym right now. Watch the guys hitting chest. Most of them are flat benching heavy. Bar touches the chest, drives up, done. Load goes up over time. Strength goes up. Chest? Sometimes it grows. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes shoulders blow up instead. Sometimes triceps steal the show. The pecs stay flat, undefined, no upper shelf to speak of. That lifter wonders what he's doing wrong. He's doing what everyone says builds chest. He's benching twice his body weight. So why does his chest look ordinary? Here's the first piece old school bodybuilders understood. The flat barbell bench press is a fixed bar path with a fixed hand position. Your body is not fixed. Your shoulder structure is unique. Your arm length determines range of motion and where tension peaks. The bar touches lower or higher depending on your build. That changes the line of pull on your pec. If you arch tight like a power lifter, you shorten pec stretch. Great for moving weight. Not always great for growing muscle. Grip width creates a trade-off. Too narrow hits triceps, too wide stresses shoulders. And here's the kicker. Whichever muscle is strongest will dominate the movement. If your front delts or triceps are naturally strong, they'll steal the work. Your pecs just ride along. Picture this gym scene. A guy benches 3 plates. Big lift, decent form. Next day his shoulders are trashed. Triceps are sore. Chest? Barely feels like it trained. Where did the work go? It went exactly where his anatomy sent it. The bench didn't fail him. The bench just exposed what structure does under a fixed movement pattern. Old school lifters figured this out fast. They stopped asking how much they could bench. They started asking how much tension their chest could hold. Golden era bodybuilding had a completely different goal. They weren't chasing press strength. They were chasing chest shape. Upper pec shelf that caught stage lights. Inner thickness along the sternum. Outer sweep that made the ribcage look wider. The look of a chest that hung like armor plating without shoulder mass taking over. You couldn't get that look by accident. You had to hunt specific angles. You had to prioritize stretch over load. You had to isolate and squeeze instead of just pushing heavy. Incline work built the upper shelf. Decline hit lower pec ties. Flies stretched the fibers across a wide arc dips, carved the outer sweep, and locked in serratus. Cables kept tension through the squeeze. Posing practice taught contraction control every single day. Watch an old school lifter set up for dumbbell flies. He's not rushing. He's not lifting yet. He's placing his body into position. Elbows soft, arc wide, dumbbells moving slow in the descent. At the bottom, he pauses. That stretch is the point. Then he drives the weights together, squeezing at the top like he's cracking a barrel with his chest. He's not moving weight. He's placing tension. That's a completely different training philosophy. Modern lifters often confuse movement with stimulus. Old school lifters knew the difference. Dumbbells became the foundation because they allowed natural arm paths. The bar forces your hands into one lock pattern. Dumbbells let you hug inward as you press. That's what your pecs do. They pull your arms across your body. A barbell can't follow that path. Dumbbells can. Incline dumbbell presses let you bring your biceps toward each other at the top. That recruits pec fibers the flat bar never touches. Your shoulders stay comfortable. Your chest does the work. Progression was simple. Add 5 pounds when form stayed clean. No ego. No grinding. Just quality tension week after week. Dips were feared and loved in equal measure. Done with a slight forward lean, they hammered the lower and outer pec with brutal efficiency. Progression was obvious. Strap on more weight with a crude belt and chain rig. Old gyms had dip stations welded from pipe. Nothing fancy. Nothing adjustable. You either owned the movement or you didn't. But here's what dips delivered. They built the pec-triceps tie-in that made arms look connected to the torso. They carved separation. They created that dropping outer pec line under the armpit. Bench pressing alone never did that. Dips did. Flies weren't called accessories back then. They were called chest shaping, because that's what they did. Direct adduction is a pec's core job, bringing your arms together across your body. Flies isolated that exact movement. Stretch at the bottom loaded the muscle in its lengthened position. That created soreness and growth that pressing never matched. Cables kept tension through the top squeeze where dumbbells go slack. Old school lifters learned tension curves by feel, not from textbooks. They used dumbbell flies on stretch days, cable crossovers on squeeze days. They understood that different tools hit different parts of the strength curve, and they used all of them. Pullovers finished the session, not because they magically expanded rib cages. That myth got repeated, but it was never real. Pullovers did something else. They hit the serratus. They engaged upper rib cage musculature. They created what old school guys called the pec rib tie-in. That made the chest look like it grew out of the rib cage instead of sitting on top of it. A dumbbell pullover was a ritual. Stretch across the bench. Deep breath. Dumbbell lower behind the head in a wide arc. It wasn't magic. It was detail work. But details separated champion from everyone else. Now here's the reveal nobody talks about. The bench press is judged by the weight you moved. Your chest is judged by the tension it held. Those are not the same thing. Old school bodybuilders built legendary pecs because they trained the pec's actual job: arm adduction, horizontal movement, and controlled contraction. Modern lifters often train a movement pattern dominated by triceps and front delts. The pec just stabilizes. It doesn't lead. Compare two lifters in your head. Lifter A benches 400 pounds. Huge press, but his chest barely contracts when he flexes. He can't squeeze it hard. He can't control it. Lifter B benches 250 with dumbbells. Moderate weight, but his flies are done with perfect stretch and squeeze. His dips are controlled and deep. When he hits a side chest pose, the muscle jumps. Who has the better chest? Numbers don't impress muscle. Tension does. Is your chest failing to grow, or is it being skipped entirely during your heavy presses? Machines entered the picture in the 70s. Nautilus, pec deck, chest press machines with fixed pads. Bodybuilders argued about them publicly, but many top guys use them privately. Why? Consistent tension curves. Easy isolation. You could squeeze hard at contraction without worrying about balance or bar path. Machines weren't magic, but they made one thing simple: forcing the pec to do the work without help from stabilizers. Old school lifters who avoided benching heavy often loaded up machine presses instead. Same pressing motion, way more chest stimulus, no shoulder beatings. Here's another angle most people miss. Posing was a secret chest builder. Old school physiques were judged on stage under lights. That meant practicing poses daily. Posing did two things for chest development. First, it taught muscle control. You learn how to flex your pecs hard without letting your delts take over. Second, it built mind-muscle connection through repetition. Most muscular taught pec squeeze under maximum contraction. Side chest taught ribcage lift combined with pec flexion. Even the vacuum pose made the chest look bigger by contrast. A guy in a dim gym practicing side chest for 20 minutes wasn't being vain. He was training contraction. On stage, punish weakness. So they practiced contraction as seriously as they practiced lifting. Shoulder longevity became a deciding factor for many lifters. Heavy flat benching can irritate shoulder joints over years. It's not universal, but it's common, especially with fixed bar pads, heavy loads, and high frequency. Old school guys learned the hard way. A blown shoulder ended careers. So many shifted emphasis. Dumbbells followed friendlier pads. Cables controlled the movement. Dips worked when technique stayed strict. They weren't avoiding work. They were avoiding the one lift that could steal their ability to train at all. Policy dictates respect here. Injuries happen, and smart lifters adapted. The goal was longevity, not one-rep maxes. Here's a skill most lifters never develop. Chest feel. Feeling your pec contract during a press isn't automatic. It's learned. If your elbows tuck too much, triceps take over. If the bar touches too low or too high, the pec's line of pull changes. If your scapula stays jammed in a powerlifting arch, you shorten pec range. If you've used the same grip width for 5 years, you've trained one pattern, not your chest. Old school fix? Pre-exhaust. Flies first, then press. Suddenly the presses hit chest because the pecs were already fatigued and had to work. Pause reps at the stretch. Control descent, brief pause, explosive drive. Or switching to slight incline with dumbbells to find a natural pec path. One lifter tries flies before pressing. Suddenly his bench feels different. Chest pumps for the first time. That's not luck. That's strategy. Old school chest training wasn't always built around one massive chest day. Full body routines were common. Upper-lower splits hit chest twice a week. Some guys trained chest 3 times weekly with lower volume per session. Why did that help? More practice, more skill development, less joint stress in one brutal workout, better pumps from fresh recovery. Compare that to modern international chest day. One exhausting session, 15 sets to failure, then nothing for 6 days. The muscle rests, but the skill fades. The feel gets rusty. Do you need more exercises, or do you need more quality exposures? The stretch era details are worth understanding. Old school lifters observed something simple. Deep dumbbell flies created soreness and growth that presses didn't. Cables kept tension at the top where dumbbells went slack. They learned these tension curves by feel, not science. Dumbbell flies were hardest at the bottom stretch. Cables stayed hardest through the squeeze. So they used both depending on what they wanted. Stretch emphasis one day, squeeze emphasis another. Picture a cable crossover done slow. Arms sweeping together, pecs cramping mid-rep, lifter pausing at contraction. Weight doesn't matter here. Ego disappears. Only tension remains. That's how detail gets built. Here's the cultural shift that changed everything. Bench press became king because it's easy to compare. It's a social scoreboard lift. High schools built gym status around it. What do you bench? Became the universal question. Old school bodybuilding judged physiques on stage. Modern gym culture judges numbers on a bar. That shift changed training incentives completely. Bench press became a measuring contest. Chest development became collateral damage. Not for everyone, but for enough people that flat, undefined pecs became common, even among strong pressers. Vince Gironda famously hated the bench press. He built champions on dips, flies, and cable work. Serge Nubret pumped chest with high-volume shaping exercises and constant squeezing. Frank Zane used precision angles and posing-driven development to build proportion. Even Arnold, who did bench, spent equal time on flies, pullovers, and daily posing. These weren't guys avoiding hard work. They were guys who understood that chest stimulus and press strength are 2 separate goals. You can chase both, but if you only chase pressing numbers, your chest might never catch up. Old gyms had crude equipment, dip stations welded from pipe, heavy dumbbells that didn't match. The first pec deck and Nautilus machines changed isolation culture overnight. Suddenly you could target chest without worrying about balance or shoulder pain. Flies stopped being an afterthought. They became chest shaping, a primary tool. Many classic routines finished chest day with a stretch move like pullovers, not as a cool down, as a final detail that separated good from great. These weren't secrets. They were standards. Here's what ties everything together. The bench press isn't bad. It's just not automatically chest. For some lifters, benching builds great pecs. For others, it builds strong pressing without much chest growth. Old school bodybuilders figured out early which category they fell into. If benching built their chest, they benched. If it didn't, they found what did. Dumbbells, dips, flies, cables, machines, angles, stretch, squeeze, posing, frequency. They treated chest development like a craft. Modern lifting often treats it like a test. Pass or fail based on your bench number. That test doesn't measure what you think it does. The strongest reveal is this: your chest doesn't care what you can press. It cares whether you can load it in its range, stretch it under control, and squeeze it hard. Old school bodybuilders built legendary chests because they trained the muscle, not the movement. They chased stimulus, not scores. They used tools that matched their structure instead of forcing their structure into one fixed pattern. And they practiced chest contraction daily through posing, making the mind-muscle connection automatic. That's why their chests had shape, separation, and longevity. Not because they were genetically gifted, because they were specific. If your chest isn't growing, ask yourself this: are you training your pecs, or are you testing your press? Those are different goals. Old school bodybuilding knew the difference. Modern gym culture forgot. The bench press rewards your leverages, your triceps, your shoulders. Your chest only grows if you make it do the work. And sometimes that means building your chest without the bench. Not because benching is wrong, because your chest deserves better than being a passenger in someone else's lift. Train the muscle, not the ego. That's how legends were built.